I have no clue that I have become the Chelsea of the country and I have become what I have no clue at all.
You're not even nominated in a lot of awards and totally snubbed that year. That broke my heart.
बच्चे हैं कि डम हैं कि क्या हैं.
So even the house I'm supposedly inherited has been earned back through money from films. I mean, you can't live on the past.
You're at a house party and you're chilling and some politician in Punjab says you're drugged out. How do you respond to that? I know Karan there's the Karan Johar party. I know he's responded to it saying that you're actually having warm water and that you had dengue or something.
I had just recovered from dengue and it was just, I was sitting in my home for like 10 days in one bedroom and I was really pakawed and I had just recovered and the doctors had said that you can step out. And I had started doing my workshops again and started like shooting again. And that's when Karan called all of us, let's have a get together, and I was like, okay, that'll be a good change. Right. And yeah, I was having lime water and sitting there. And what happened actually, the funny thing was, see, the thing is, people who don't know us personally, assuming things, seeing a video, it's fine, it's fair. Sure. It's fair, it's completely fair. But then factualizing those assumptions I don't feel it's fair. What happened was, after that party, everything is normal and we knew that he's put up a video. 5 minutes before that video was taken, Karan's mom is sitting with us, you know, and so it was a very chilled out party. And then after that video was put, and the next day I had to go to Arunachal Pradesh and I was in the hills with the army for 3-4 days where there's no network and nothing. So I don't know what's going on. I have no clue that I have become the Chelsea of the country and I have become what I have no clue at all. ठीक है, तो मैं तो आर्मी ये वो जी रहा हूँ अपनी लाइफ, no clue, nothing is going on. And I come back to Bombay and I meet my parents and still don't know कि क्या हो रहा है. And my mom and dad know everything. Right. They have been watching the news and ये वो, and they didn't tell me because कि I would get affected sitting there and then I would feel all the more urge to knowing it where there's no network, so they just didn't tell me anything. And I come back and I'm only ranting about अरे आर्मी के साथ ये मजा आया, वो मजा आया, फलाना आया, ये वो फलाना. I go back to my room before just going to sleep. I go to Twitter and I'm like, हैं? FIR? Open letter? ये क्या हुआ? And then I'm looking at those videos, circling, white thing, ये thing, and I'm like,
there is some light falling on the floor.
Light falling on the floor.
Which is supposed to be cocaine.
Yeah. So I go back outside and I'm like, Mom, Dad, do you guys know about this? And then they just give a smile and they're like, we know about this, don't worry. So I was like, okay, as long as you know, then I'm sorted. And then the next day I started, it affected me. Right. Ki, arey, ye kya ho raha hai? Like, what just happened? Right. And then I come to know the things that have happened in the past 3 days. Ki, टीवी चैनलों में मेरे शक्ल पे रेड सर्कल दिखा के ये हुआ है एंड ये हुआ है फलाना हुआ है, एंड आई एम लाइक हैं. So but then I mean I also contemplated with the fact that कि I should come out and say कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं था and ये वो, but then I realized that's a very impulsive response. That's as impulsive as them factualizing the assumption, which doesn't make sense. Also, what happens on a social media trial and Twitter is that, what it starts from? It starts from, ha, they look drugged. And then it becomes, oh, they do look drugged. And then it becomes, arey, ye to actors hai, they are drugged. And then it becomes, how dare they are drugged and shame on them they are drugged. Then you feel कि मैं अपने लेटर में किसको जवाब दूँ? कि यहाँ तो बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिनके अपने opinions है, तो मैं किसको cater कर रहा हूँ, And then I realized that letter would also have an opinion कि ये ऐसा क्यों है, ये वैसा क्यों है, then वो क्या है. And then also what was happening was, during that time, Section 370, Kashmir, and there were so many bigger things happening in the country. And I'm like, this is, किसी और के एक factualization of an assumption, because there were people saying कि ये हो रहा है, drug dash, ये है, वो है, फलाना. But there were 10 times the people who were saying कि कुछ तो दिमाग लगाओ, क्या बोले जा रहे हो. So I had a choice to listen to किनको सुनना है, and depending on कि I could either react on the bigger things that are happening in the country or I could react to this, which is just happening to me. And then I started thinking ये तो बहुत छोटी चीज़ है, because people who knew me, after that video came out, they really texted me ki you don't seem to have recovered from dengue, you look weak, and I agree that I looked weak, I looked like my face was pale and it was but I can understand people taking it in a different sense who didn't know that I was not doing well or whatever, but that's okay. I knew that Karan was going to speak out, and on a collective level, and it also didn't make sense to me to just pop out and say ki I didn't do anything
also, man.
so and I couldn't speak on anybody else's behalf.
Right.
So it made sense.
It should be the host.
It should be the host, and if he is going to talk collectively, on everybody's behalf. So that's what happened.
Like you cribbed about, or I don't know whether it wasn't really cribbing, there's a lot of sarcasm there about Filmfare Awards, for instance, when you wrote about the fact that they missed you. I mean, in the popular category, whereas you had like some 3 big releases that same year.
Yeah. This question comes up to me, and I just say this stopped affecting me some time back and it affected me the maximum 2-3 years back when Pink happened, because I was snubbed that time as well. Well, at that time, when after Shujit Sarkar tells you that apne kapde silwa le, is saal bade award milenge tere ko, and you probably people are just like crying while interviewing you because of the role you did and all that, you've touched them so deeply,
which is true. Yes.
Yeah, I had some beautiful moments after that film with people. So after all that, you're not even nominated in a lot of awards and totally snubbed that year. That broke my heart very badly. And that day I was like, nobody's going to listen to me if I'm going to call out saying, this didn't happen to me and foul play and all that. Nobody's going to take me seriously, and they're just going to put me aside that she keeps cribbing, oh my God, like all that. So I thought, I'll do something, I'll give such films every year that people will start asking you that why you snubbing her. I will not ask you. So that is the pledge that I took a few years back when this happened to me in Pink. There onwards, every year I had films in which people loved my work as a performer, but I was snubbed. I was snubbed last year as well. But this year things changed because it became so shameless and evident that people started questioning now, and that's when tables turned. So now I'm really enjoying it, because now they can't turn back and say she's bitter, or she's cribbing, or she's crying. I'm not saying anything. It's my audience who's talking, because you've made it so shamelessly evident that they're going to talk on my behalf. And that's, I think, my real victory.
And you've said this before too, in the sense that you get far more recognition from the public than you do from the peers. Or the film industry, as it were.
Yeah. But since when did peer validation become the true mark of validation? Like, who said that only when you get validated by your peers is when you've actually arrived? I'm fine with being the underdog. I'm still not in the so-called list of 5 actresses who are supposed to be rated in the order of their performances. I'm fine with that, but I'm still the same actress whose films are the highest rated films in the year. If you see the last year, my films, I think I'm really proud of the fact that I had some of the best rated films last year. And I'll have that again this year, and it has already began. So I'm going to make sure my work is going to speak for me, because of which my audience is going to start talking on me. They'll become the people who will be talking on my behalf and being my support. I will not talk about it. Let their validation come in for me. Because they are the ones who are paying for my movie ticket and making it a hit. None of these other peers whose validation we expect are the ones paying for the movie ticket and watching it. So that doesn't matter.
And what is this thing of calling them young? Ranbir Kapoor was 37, he is the young kid of the generation. Like, my father was a middle-aged man in that time. And Alia Bhatt just turned, she's running 27. 27, I was writing dialogues for Queen.
They're not in this room. It's unfair to talk about that.
No, but what is this young thing? उनको नहीं पता वो बच्चे हैं. ओ कौन से बच्चे? My mother had 3 children at 27. This is absolutely unfair. बच्चे हैं कि dumb हैं कि क्या हैं? See, this is you can't get away with this. At this age, at this stage, you should know. And I'm not saying that there's some 12, 13-year-old and you're putting mic in before their mouths and be like talk. You have to talk. No. If they can pay, they can be the highest taxpayers in the country. Why can't they care about this country? How can we sit in our houses and be like, no, just twiddle with our thumbs? What is this? This is wrong.
This is not wrong. It's perfectly fine for someone not to publicly comment on an issue if they don't want to. It's their privilege. It's something
See, it is
and that you want to. That's fine too.
No, see again. I agree. If we are asking about your sex life, that you're okay to discuss, which you should have your personal agenda. No, that you're okay to discuss. Put pictures on Instagram. Who I'm not. That is fine. But about the country, it's my personal choice. You don't even understand and identify and differentiate between which is personal, which is not personal. I think it is the most. Everybody asks me, हाँ, so आजकल किसके साथ चल रहा है? अरे तुमको क्यों बताऊं? You ask me the questions which are not personal. Here उल्टा होता है यहाँ पे. Whichever is personal, they're okay to flash that. Okay, and which is not personal. Everything about the country, how can you say it's my personal wish? It's not your personal wish. It is a collective wish.
It's your wish not to be on social media, right?
No.
I mean, how about we tell you
that is a
well,
personal,
you must be on social
that
media
is a personal
and you must talk about country
so आप
and
मेरे को
soldiers.
बताइए, आप मेरे को बताइए इजराइल में जब सबको आर्मी में भेजते हैं, is it a personal wish?
No, that's different.
So that is the situation of the country.
Maybe we don't agree with that. As a country, maybe we don't agree with conscription.
but कल को अगर दिक्कत आएगी, कल को सिचुएशन होगी, agree or not agree, जाना ही पड़ेगा. Agree हो चाहे नहीं agree हो, जाना ही पड़ेगा. So everything about the country is in a collective domain. ये collective consciousness है, it has to collectively rise. You cannot personalize it. Every question, चाहे वो farmer पे हो, चाहे वो bomb blast पे हो, चाहे वो women rights पे हो, या चाहे वो human rights पे हो, is a question about the country. Who you are having sex with is not the question about the country. Social media is not the question about the country. You want to be on social media, it's not the question about collective well-being of the country. That you decide you want to choose or not give. And all of this है कि अभी बच्चे हैं ये वो प्लीज वो नहीं होने वाला अभी कोई 37 कोई 38 कोई कुछ that's very wrong.
A lot of people tend to forget is, well, you're Nawab and all those things in terms of lineage. You're actually an extremely self-made person.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we can carry on. Yes. Yeah, but
Right.
Narratives suits, I've learned this. You can't argue against them, whether they're true or not. You can go blue. People have a certain fixed notion.
Right. Because that's the part of your life that I really want to talk about. Okay. Because it's seldom spoken of, in the sense that you were a 20-year-old kid who showed up in Bombay, living on your own. I don't think you took money from your parents. No. You're absolutely self-made in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, even for that matter, Patodi, I mean, when my father died, it was rented to the Nimrana group of hotels. Okay. So Aman and Francis used to run that. Right. Francis passed away now, poor fellow. So he said, if you ever want it back, let me know. And I said, I want it back. So they had a conference and said, okay, you have to give us lots of money, right. Which I then consequently earned and kind of. So even the house I'm supposedly inherited has been earned back through money from films. And I mean, you can't live on the past. Right. At least we can't in our family. I mean, because there was nothing. There's some history and culture and some beautiful photographs, and of course some land. And it's been a privileged upbringing. But there's been no
like a
inheritance
coming from.
There's
there.
no inheritance
Never
coming
been.
from there. Never been.
And then of course you made your debut with Yash Chopra, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But that would be the first film that came out, or was.
Actually, I have to say something. Even though it's a personal thing. I don't want to dwell too much on it, but I also kind of ran away from home and got married at 20, which and I have to give Amrita, my ex-wife, credit for being the only person really that taught me to take all this seriously. It was at that point where I was told and taught that I don't know what you're doing, but this kind of stuff needs focus. You can't be laughing and joking. And I remember the analogy actually. It says you can't hit a target if you're laughing at it. Right. So I was like, oh, okay. So things like that. And it was at that time that Parampara happened, and Yash Chopra ji called and said, I'm looking for a fourth lead or something, because I was like, great, anything. So I did it. And when he signed me, a lot of other people.
That's how it usually works. Right?
Yeah, it's like an investment in a stock. You say, okay, now if Yash Chopra and Parampara is taking him, then it's going to be let's invest in this.
Right.
And that's what happened. But the basic journey of taking things seriously started there. And then it was a question of kind of mentally burning bridges and saying, this is it, there's just nothing else. And that's somehow the only way to kind of make it in movies, is not to be open to any kind of distraction or the possibility that let's try this, let's do something else. No, it was like, this has to work because there's nothing else. That kind of focus is what I felt was required, and what was taught to me, and I kind of inculcated.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.